Let's start with senior Capitol Hill producer Chad Pergram live on Capitol Hill with all this late breaking news. All right, Chad, tell us about this news regarding the former special counsel.
Well, a blockbuster of a night here on Capitol Hill on two fronts, starting with Robert Mueller. This subpoena was issued to Robert Mueller to appear in an open session, a joint session between the House Intelligence Committee and Judiciary Committee on July 17th. We are told that he will, in fact, come. But this was the condition here. Robert Mueller told the committees that he would not come unless they formally issued a subpoena. He also told them that he would stick to the four corners of his report. If you remember his statement when he released the report some time ago, he said he wasn't going to go beyond what was in the report, that the report, spoke for itself. Here's part of the statement from Adam Schiff, the chair of the Intelligence Committee, and also Jerry Nadler, the chair of the Judiciary Committee. Quote, Americans have demanded to hear directly from the special counsel so they can understand what he and his team examined, uncovered, and determined about Russia's attack on our democracy, the Trump campaign's acceptance and use of that help, and President Trump and his associates' obstruction of the investigation into that attack. Now, Doug Collins is the top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee. He's a Republican from Georgia. He says that, quote, I hope the special counsel's testimony marks an end to the political gamesmanship that Democrats have pursued at the cost of the taxpayers. Shannon, this is going to be an amazing hearing, and here's why. We think about other major hearings on Capitol Hill, and the magnitude of this is just off the chart. When James Comey came and testified, Jeff Sessions in the Senate when he was the Attorney General. We think about Michael Cohen appearing earlier this year before a committee here on Capitol Hill. Those hearings will be dwarfed by this one. This might be the biggest hearing we've had on Capitol Hill. When I talked to a couple of Republican lawmakers here, they weren't even aware that the subpoena was being issued. They found out about it on the House floor from other members and in the Speaker's lobby during this vote on the border security bill. Some Republicans think that Democrats are trying to make a point before the start of the August recess. But keep in mind that Republicans are going to have a lot of serious questions here, try to undercut Mueller, ask questions about the text messages between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, and also about the Steele dossier. So this is going to be a barn burner of a hearing, perhaps the biggest we've had in years on Capitol Hill, Shannon.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because the former special counsel has said, listen, the 400 pages plus report, that's my word on everything, and I'm probably not ever going to talk about this again. So the fact that he's now reached some agreement to come and speak, we understand it will be contained to the report, but there's a lot in there. So that's going to be very interesting. Okay.
And there's precedence for this, too, because Ken Starr, he did come and testify on the Starr report with Bill Clinton back in the late 1990s.
Yeah, and the statutes have changed since then, but it looks like the result's going to be the same, at least being able to hear from the special counsel. Okay, so you're busy over there tonight because there's other breaking news on the Hill about the funding fight for border wall funding, not for the wall, but now for humanitarian efforts and the crisis there at the border, that it seems like across party lines they agree at least on that much.
Right. This was a supplemental spending bill, $4.5 billion here, and it was a vote 230 to 195. Bipartisan vote. There were 3 Republicans who voted with the Democrats. We had Will Hurd of Texas, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, and Chris Smith of New Jersey. They're all moderates and come from swing districts. There were 4 Democratic defections: Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts, and Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. Their reservations about this bill, they said, why would we continue to direct funding toward ICE and CBP when we think that they are abusing that and abusing children and not keeping them in sanitary conditions? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi allowed liberal Democrats to go in and rewrite this bill, to tweak this bill so they could get it across the finish line. They did not have the votes yesterday, but key changes in this bill altered this. And this was part of Nancy Pelosi's statement, or, when she talked to the Democratic caucus here. I'm going to read you what she said this morning. She said, quote, today we have an opportunity to help the children at the border understand what we're up against with the White House. The president would like for this bill to go down today, and a vote against the bill is a vote for President Trump. The next stop is the Senate, where they have a bipartisan bill there, but it's unclear if the House and Senate can get on the same page before the end of the week, Shannon.
All right, Chad Pergram live on the Hill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Burning the midnight oil.